Hopefully, there we go. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm a bit more chill tonight, or today, or whatever you want to say. I'm really looking forward to today's stream as I'm just checking to see if I'm live and how that's going. Oh, that Pokemon music is a bit too loud in my eyes. There, we'll drop it down. So, hello. I should probably just... Welcome to the stream. There we go. There's the enthusiasm you wanted. Because, you know, as you do, I'm a bit all over the place today. And so, we're going to be doing a series breakdown from SK versus BDS. Which, yeah. Don't know why I predicted SK winning. But yesterday's games, we predicted Mad winning. And also G2 winning. Only one of them I think we got perfect. There's a nice motorbike goes revving past the front of my house. Always love it when you hear that. But today we've got G2 and Koi facing off yet again. And we've also got Mad Astralis. Oh boy. I'm gonna have fun predicting these. Because recency bias would lead you to just say Koi 2-1. But I can't really say that. So, you're getting a little bit of breakdown live. It's going to be wacky, wavy, me all over the place, you know, because I'm a bit tired. Oh, my back. Anywho, let's start with this prediction. We'll start with the Astralis game. Mad yesterday came out swinging. But they were very prone to mistakes, shall we say. They played their scrappy style that, in some instances, lost them the game. We know them to be a scrappy team. We saw in Winter a team that was dying less but winning more. This split, we've seen a team that's dying more and essentially just being thrown out of games pretty quickly. But they're going up against Astralis, who I think may struggle against Mad. Reason I say that is because stylistically wise, Astralis and Mad are very similar. They both are scrappy teams, and they do want to fight. Leader versus Niski, I would say is Niski favored, and we could honestly see a Mad Lions squad come out and get absolutely bamboozled. I believe, wait, unless I'm actually completely wrong. Yes, it is Mad. My brain just switched off there and was like, But what if it's actually Fnatic? It's not. I think this game, after yesterday, should go to Astralis. I think Astralis should win 2-1. That's just me. That's just how I'm thinking about this. And realistically speaking, did we see these two teams face off in playoffs last year? Mad Astralis, we did. It was our matchup of the week. How can I forget that? God, I remember predicting too. Astralis picked up games then. So, and Astralis are a lot better than what they were last split. Which sometimes I feel is more of a coin flip for them as to if they perform well. Other times it's, I don't know, it's weird. they could perform really well, or just get absolutely swept, shall we say. As for the second series, speaking of coin flips, we've got Koi taking on G2. G2 as a whole, it's hard to discuss them, because it's not the same form team that came into groups last year, or last split. I always say year instead of split, go figure. It's a G2 squad who has struggled. Against Koi, Koi adapted to how G2 played, and just got stopped. They shut down Broken Blade, who was, let's be honest, not performing well. And here, with a very strong showing from G2 yesterday against SK, we could quite honestly see G2 getting revenge on Koi. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, Koi's only chance of making MSI is if G2 don't win here. It's a bit weird. We can discuss how championship points work here. But if I am truly... if I'm right, Mad were the 8th seed in playoffs. Koi 7th. And essentially, if Mad lose here and Koi lose here, championship points wise, I need to check the difference, because basically Mad would finish below Koi. Championship points. It doesn't actually say. Championship points. Championship points. Championship points. Basically, championship points wise. Why is there no reference to championship points? There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, okay, so points distribution for winter. There's a 30-point difference. Sorry, a 20-point difference between a team finishing in... well, where would you finish, actually? Sorry, I'm trying to think. You'd finish top 6, actually. It's a 10-point difference, basically, in spring. Same in summer. The big issue is here. It's a 20-point difference between 2nd and 3rd in winter. Which, Mad finished there, Koi finished there. So, in actuality, if G2 win this split, currently, actually, why does it say these numbers? Okay, a little bit confused why it's got these filled in already, but essentially what we're guaranteed is Koi and Mad could be on 140 points versus 120, because there's a 20-point difference, which obviously would mean our second representative at MSI could be essentially Mad or Vitality. It would have to come to whether or not Vitality advanced to the final, where they're either getting 100 or 120 points. So we're either going to see, if G2 win the entire split, Mad or Vitality, or BDS. No, BDS don't have enough points. Basically, it's one of these 3 teams that are going to MSI if G2 win the entire split. Koi cannot, if they lose to G2, which, in actuality, G2 basically need to lose here if Koi want to advance to MSI. Simple as. Basically, they're one of the few teams, like BDS, like Astralis, who want G2 to lose. And, Mad and Vitality they're like, yeah, G2, you win the entire split. You go, girls. Because if Mad win against Astralis, that would take them up into 4th and 3rd. They would get plus 60, shall we say. That would put them basically guaranteed, shall we say, top 2 for the championship points. Basically, Mad need to win today against Astralis, and G2 win against Koi, and G2 win the entire split. Basically, if Mad win today, they're guaranteed at least MSI, or not. It depends if G2 win the split or not. And so, I'm a very big believer in Koi, if you haven't known me for a long time. I think Koi will win, just because they want to go to MSI. Like, statistically speaking, this is their only shot. It's a lot of teams' only shots. Astralis, if they win, they're going to be really happy if G2 lose. Fuck. If G2 lose today, actually. And then it'll come down to essentially the split winner. Regardless of that, 2 games to break down today. After a nice discussion of whomst going to win today. We've got SK BDS. I remember saying this matchup was because we breezed through the BDS series because it was a stomp against Koi. And Koi is a Koi flip at the moment. They got absolutely demolished by BDS. So, here, we're going to see Koi versus... Well, sorry, Koi. I've got Koi on my mind, can you tell? So we're going to see SK take on BDS here. And stylistically speaking... I need to change my hashtags. Stylistically speaking, I was expecting to be wearing the SK jersey for this. But it didn't turn up. So, you're getting me in my nice rugby jersey, or rugby hoodie, because if you don't know, I work for a rugby team part-time. Very fun. Anywho, draft-wise, we're already halfway through the bands. My throat is killing me. And let's be honest, it's pretty standard. Actually, I'm a bit... Actually, no, yeah, never mind. It's a lot of target towards the bot lane. Annie, Zeri, Varus, Draven, Rakan, all bot lane targeted, orientated bends. Very nice, honestly, from BDS. I'm a bit surprised they went for the Zeri first pick... Vi first pick, because... Zeri is technically off the board. But there's still Xayah, which would be a safe first pick for SK. Because she has a lot of tools in her kit to keep her safe, not be harassed down, and honestly just be very, very cool. Wukong responding to the Vi makes a lot more sense, because Wukong into Vi is always a skill matchup. They both have the same sort of goal of getting into the backline, and then just harassing them down. Response-wise, into Xayah, Jinx maybe? She's risen in priority. There's obviously the mid lanes left open for the next pick, or you lock in your support here if you're BDS. I mean, you can go Nautilus, get a really aggressive bot lane against the Xayah, who wants to kind of play a bit more safe, and usually have a roaming support with her, so likes of Pyke or... What else roams? Heimerdinger wouldn't be terrible, but it's actually going to be Renata picked up here. This is something BDS and a lot of other teams during this group stage has pivoted back to. It's been pretty clever because you provide that safety that also provides aggression. It's kind of like Thresh, because you can play aggressive looking for picks with the hook, or you can play safe with the Lantern. Renata basically is aggression with support. You just put your W down onto Jinx, she goes aggressive, and you also can pull people back into your just mini-gunning ADC. Last pickup though for SK in this first round was Ahri, securing themselves a very mobile mid laner, which obviously means they're going to be throwing bans towards Nuke, and surprisingly BDS are targeting out top side. A very untouched top side so far. Neither side have locked in a top laner, which I think still favors BDS because Adam just has these wacky picks. And I would have thought they maybe throw a support ban in here. Something at likes of a Nor, I guess. What else is there? What would be good? Because realistically speaking, you're going to have to ban an engaged champion from SK side. It would more than likely be a support. Because I expect something out of DOS to be aggressive. He does play enchanters, but he's going in with the Nautilus. So that's fairly obvious to me. BDS now have to show their full hand. Adam is currently being hovered. His Olaf is standard for him. It's not very standard for the meta, but I like it. You look at the entire SK Gaming squad, you've got Pullback from Xayah, which is a root. You've got the Cyclone out of Wukong, Charm from Ahri, and then Nautilus's entire kit is just Stun City. So picking up the Olaf means you can play a little bit more aggressive in the top lane past level 6, and you can also just run at people during team fights and they can't stop you. I also like the pickup of the Syndra alongside it for Nuke. This is a champion that, realistically speaking, hasn't seen too much play during LEC regular season, and it's because she hasn't been as prevalent as the likes of Ahri and Azir was. Bear in mind, Azir's changes have only just come through into group stage, and so he has dropped completely out of meta. As for the last pickup, the Rumble for SK. That's a lot of wave clear and a lot of push for the top side. It's their only sort of AP, bar the Ahri. Actually, I like that pickup a lot, actually, to be honest. When you've got the Cyclone, you've got a lot of CC on the side of SK. Having a Rumble there, just to drop the Equalizer, which is on a very short cooldown. It's one of them ultis that is just dumb, that has a very low cooldown for a lot of impact. When you have an Olaf running at you, you just put the carpet down. He's basically got a red carpet to run at you with, and he just gets burnt up. It's a very nice tool. I like this from SK to kind of nullify Adam's champions. Whether or not it pays dividend, we'll have to see once we get into the game. Obviously, after showing you the spreadsheet, you know it's a loss for SK. And that was also a Gwen in the crowd. Kind of cute, like Gwen, one of my favourite. She's my favourite top lane champion, actually. Might as well reveal some pertinent information about me. Favourite champions across role, Gwen topside, Zeri and Seraphine in the bot lane. Mid lane, oh, Akali. I do like me some Akali. And then jungle, I don't know. What's my favourite jungler? I mean, I do play Evelyn when I do get jungle. Or Vi. Vi isn't terrible. Regardless, we're on the Rift. We've got a standard fan out across every lane. BDS making a 4-man movement up towards this blue buff. Not going to go any further. Just gonna get a cheeky ward, actually. Spotted, though, by DOS, so there's a bit of vision known to SK. And interestingly enough, Wukong obviously knows the ward's there, is actually still going to start on the blue buff. And typically speaking, I do believe SK knew that the Vi was bot side. She is now going to do a very nice transitional jungle. So she's gone red buff into wolves and then probably into blue. That's probably the pathing he's going to take. Meanwhile, Wukong is going blue buff into wolves, into red buff. He's actually pinging his own red buff. So, there's that. Vi, slightly behind on the clear. And so, she's actually going to be a little later to a possible topside play. And this Olaf, he's going to go visit the red buff. This is kind of a traditional add-on thing. He actually gets a quick spot onto Marcoon there. But add-on, as a top laner, he's one of these tops that likes to go for a bit of a roam. And it's a playstyle known to pretty much everyone in the league. Usually level 3, you'll see him roam to mid lane. And level 2, going in there to get a cheeky ward on red. Obviously, if you expected the Wukong to do a full clear bot side, considering the fact they saw him on vision around the blue buff, then possibly go up to the Gromp, and then could have, in all likelihood, done a clone over that wall to avoid the wards, gone to wolves, and then into the red buff quadrant. That could have been the pathing that BDS were expecting out from Marcoon there. And so they did know he would be in the top side of the river. And so, good play overall by Adam to kind of make sure Marcoon's location was constantly known. And so, Marcoon's unable to get anything done on the map right now. Bot side, bit of a struggle for SK. Being constantly pushed in by a Renata and a Jinx early on. Bit surprising, but then you have to remember it's a melee versus range support battle, as a lot of spells put down, handshakes put down, pulling back X kick with a good timing on that cleanse overall. So SK aren't going to be able to they don't lose really anything in the bot side play. But they don't gain anything. It's a good hook out from Nautilus. Jinx is backing. She's actually just left Renata. But Labrov can just walk it off. Fair enough. Good play out from SK to kind of get themselves pushed back in this lane. They want to crash these minions into turret and get a nice reset. So the reason DOS is staying here, forcing Labrov back, is because Labrov was trying to freeze the wave in front of his own turret. So Nautilus steps forward, stopping the Renata from doing that and allowing the wave to crash. It's a good play overall by both supports there. And basically just counteracting what each other want to do. Apologies, I have a cold coming on and it's really not that good. Anyway, going topside, Marcoon has not been spotted, neither has Sheo, but this is the SK factor. DOS roams early, and this play is looking very clean from BDS, but they're just too slow, and Vi, very smart, going to execute off to the turret, not allow any gold into that bot lane, which Nautilus doesn't get any of. And in actuality, he's fallen behind slightly. But good play overall from SK to counteract the play that BDS were going for. And once again, DOS just roams straight through mid. Just gonna walk straight back down bot. Possibly tax his mid laner some CS. Actually, this is very smart. Essentially what DOS is doing is, yes, he's taxing his mid laner. And yes, the mid laner does technically get the gold for the minion. He's just essentially getting wave pushing to allow Certus a reset. As we come to this play again, I just want to point out the flash is being burnt. So we'll go back here. So essentially, Vi is going to come in, charging through, hitting the rumble. Adam is just pressuring. And Vi reveals there, and the Q misses. Because a perfectly timed flash from Irrelevant means that it's not going to hit. So Sheo flashes to follow, thinking, oh, I can reactively flash to still get the knockback. And if that possibly landed, that probably would have been first blood over to BDS. However, Marcoon arrives here, and Rumble just can fire in with the overheat. Because bear in mind, overheated Rumble has benefits. You get increased attack speed, and it's very powerful attacks. They're a lot higher damage. So, while, yes, he can't use his spells, he's done his job here, Irrelevant. He's got all the damage out, and is doing a lot more from his autos. So, Adam burns down here, and first blood, 400 gold over to Marcoon, 200 over to Irrelevant. Sheo is like, okay, well, Adam's just died. Go figure. I need to get something back here at least. So Ease gets 150 gold for himself, but he's now under turret. And with DOS, who is just walking around, essentially DOS could have actually hooked here, or used an ability to kind of, I think he missed his hook, by the way. Basically, DOS is never going to get in range of Sheo before the turret shot lands. So Marcoon autos down Sheo once, just to secure the kill. And the depth charge, not depth charge, whatever it's called, death from below, whatever it is, basically the E from Nautilus does not land. And so no gold realistically goes into Nautilus's back pocket there. But what surprises me, after the failed play top, I say it's failed play, they do manage to get a kill. After the play top, BDS straight on the Drake. 7 minutes into the game. This is something BDS do all the time. And it was mentioned in the Koi game quite heavily, how essentially BDS always give up Drake, or go for Drake first. They stack it early. They've got soul every single game they played. It's their trait. And how do they do it in this position? Well, they've drafted a very push-heavy bot lane. DOS obviously roamed and made it down bot side, but he's now in a situation where BDS just have vision control here, so no one can come in from there, and they've got the scuttle. They've had control of this area for a long time, so they're able to get this Drake quite freely. And SK, Marcoon's top side, he's having to kind of shepherd Rumble for some reason, trying to make a counterplay of sorts, because he kind of figured, okay, BDS are going to be on Drake. So what happens? DOS is forced to flash, because Jinx gets excited off of Drake kills. This is something BDS prep for. They prep for Drakes. Jinx is a very powerful pick with Drakes. Reason being is the get excited gives her a lot more movement speed and more ability to pop off in fights. It's something, it's why I like how BDS play for Drakes. It's not just that, it's also a hell of a lot of scaling, shutting down potential. you look at a squad of BDS versus the actual champs on SK. Scaling wise, I still think SK have it better. With Drakes involved, BDS have it better. Plain and simple. Drakes make games dumb. And what we're actually seeing is SK kind of forced to make plays onto Harold. And Sheo is in the area. He's actually up in mid lane. And you look how many members of BDS are in mid lane is quite high. And so, realistically speaking, BDS could have contested that. But they're going for a different play. In fact, they're looking to continue to allow Cryony to succeed. They're just sending 3 members bot. Makes it so that XKit cannot stay in lane. And Labrov and Sheo just playing bodyguards. Labrov, though, forced a flash, because there was no way he was getting away from that. And a couple of plates over into the back pockets of Jinx here means that this play is pretty good. And topside, the carpet has been laid out, and Adam's dead. I don't get that from Olaf. I'm going to be honest. I know there's a replay of this one, so we'll discuss that. Bot side, though, counterplay, and Nautilus is dead to Jinx, and Cryony's getting fed. It's not good. 1.1k off of just minions and plating, and finally a kill is the lead in that bot side. Cryony has been very good this year at generating his own advantages. And it's one of the big reasons BDS has been such a big threat. Anyway, we watch this top fight. Adam lands the first undertow, pops Ragnarok. Don't know, I get that you get, what's it called, Lifesteal Omnivamp from this ultimate. And or more damage. But like, he runs off of the Rumble ult. He runs off the Equalizer and is getting burnt. And so he's at this point thinking, hey, that Rumble has overheated. All he can do is auto attack me. I probably out damage him with autos. So he's kind of like, okay, I will re-engage. What we end up seeing is he re-engages back on top of the Equalizer panel. Like, I get you want to kill him, but you're just giving him an easier kill, because you're just burning yourself down. And he's doing it in the minion wave as well, I should point out. I think at this point he realizes he was dead, and he was just trying to kill the minions, but he was fighting him in a massive minion wave as well. So Irrelevant was always going to win that fight. And we watch this from his pro view. Yeah, he walks out the Equalizer. He's getting ticked down. Walks back into it. Like, that's 307 damage. 400. It was basically 500 HP of damage from the Equalizer. And Adam just took it. Like, what? That felt like an int play. And it's kind of a big reason why Irrelevant was able to kind of do a lot more in this matchup first. But what I do have to say is they don't really press the advantage like how BDS have with the bot side. The bot side matchup is just way too out of tune, shall we say. And we watch this play. Flash burnt from Sheo for an Equalizer. Equalizer's cooldown is very short, as I've said. BDS are behind tempo right now in the top half of the map. Mid's a bit different, but that might be a bit more different now, as Xiao is going to trade back a kill. Middle laners are just going to trade kills. This play favors SK, regardless of the fact if Jinx got an assist. Essentially, the bot lane matchup is scuffed. SK just have to play top half. Simple as. You need to play for the rest of the lanes. Rumble could hopefully drop the equalizer down on Jinx. Because bear in mind, there's no actual, other than Renata W, there's no like repositioning tools for Jinx. She's gone Kraken Slayer, so no Gale Force. She's got Ghost, which is the only sort of mobility tool she has other than Flash. But yeah, we look at this play. Jungler kills jungler. Mid kills mid. This favors SK in the sense that... Oh, I just realized Renata got an assist in there as well. Do you think Renata dropped her E onto Crowny? And essentially that meant that she got an assist as well. That's actually really clever. And it kind of keeps Renata ahead of Nautilus as well. But basically, the fact that Certus kills off Nuke means that mid lane should be free and push for SK. Even though Xiao is still here. And there's a blue buff actually on Vi and not the Ahri. Ahri is lower mana. So, I think this favors SK slightly more than what it does BDS. Purely because Certus is able to get a kill. And keep his lane in a bit of a better position, shall we say. He probably is actually going to be forced to teleport back to mid. Like what Nuke is. Because Nuke probably is going to responsive TP back once he's respawned. In actuality, the big thing to note is Certus is going to get probably a free reset and not have to burn TP. But TP actually are going to be burnt by both mid laners. And what do you know? BDS have Drake control. When I said the bot lane is rampant, it's at a point where SK cannot walk forward. They've had bottom river control all game here, BDS. And teams just aren't adapting to it. You look, the Chompers can just block out an entrance. It's very powerful. Renata's just playing bodyguard. Easy Drake for BDS. And no counterplay because Adam's roamed down. So, there's no play as bot side. Let's get on top of Xiao. They're trying to force this Herald to crash. I like it, but the gold isn't going to go into the back pockets of anyone other than Marcoon, as Adam just gets a revenge kill. Top. That's a yikes. He's 800 gold behind Adam, and he's still able to kill off Irrelevant. Bit of a weird one there, I assume. I'd be intrigued to see if we get a replay. But, yeah. I'm tired, as you can see. So, game 1, fairly even. Gold lead has shifted back to BDS, but it's marginal. It's only 400 gold. And I think, from what we're seeing, is Jinx ult just fired to try and cancel backs. What we're seeing is Xiao and Labrov playing bot side very well. I think Xiao has secured every single crab. And it's been very impactful. Because it means that no one's able to go down this bot side. And SK are looking for a play. They get on top of Xiao who's just going to use a Vial. That's a very nice ult. And I just want to focus at the fact that Crowny... Okay, this fight was poor from SK. Crowny was untouched. Hook comes through. Okay, good play by SK to get one back at least. X kicking DOS. Still kicking. But Nuke's able to get pushing mid. This game feels very much over. So we'll watch it again. Essentially, Marcoon's always going to go over this wall. It's just a tried and true method of getting an easy lockup. Because his ultimate, the Cyclone, just covers this entire choke here. Crowny is just pushing the minion wave into turret. So that's crashing. Look where X-Kick is. He's over there. He's not in this play. He's in fact a lot further away than what Crowny would be. So Marcoon goes over the wall. He targets Show. And I think he does get pulled back by Renata. Over the wall goes the Ahri. And DOS is just stood there doing nothing. He gets hit by Renata ult. And just watch Crowny in this remaining bit of the fight. He just free firing. And Certus is stood next to him. Not targeting him. He's in fact targeting down Sheo. Which I think's a bad idea. Considering there's no jungle things on the map right now to fight for. And in actuality, this is just such a bad fight for SK because Crowny's just able to free fire. He doesn't get the kill there. In fact, Nuke gets it. But it's just overall a bad play by SK that gets rescued by this kill onto Labrov. Just a bit of patience out from SK there to get that one as well. But I'm going to be honest. What we've seen so far from SK, it's a bit dismal, bot side. Exekit and DOS has just been unable to get anything done. As top side, Adam Zolaf's just getting incinerated. It is going to be which build of Rumble. That's the intriguing thing. In fact, first turret goes over to SK, which is a bit of a surprise on the bot side. Bit of gold, though, over to them. Regardless, I want to see the Rumble build. I'm intrigued by it. Okay, it's Rocket Belt. I wouldn't have thought Rocket Belt would have been as powerful as, say, a Leandri's. Because, let's be honest, you look at Ahri, she's gone for the Everfrost, which is a bit more supportive build. You could have gone Leandri's fully here for Rumble. Actually, you've got a lot more tick burn damage down onto the likes of the Jinx. Be more teamfight impactful. As Drake's up in 40 seconds, look what SK are doing. They're actually trying to play for it. They're just stopping BDS trying to get in the river. But what do BDS have to kind of negate that? They've got second Herald. Which means this turret is going to crash and burn. So look what's happened. SK are forced to answer to it. And BDS have roamed into this bottom quadrant of the map. Secured themselves vision. And SK are now roaming back in to darkness. This is just a very well played situation as Adam burns his ult because if he gets caught then this Drake's kind of forfeit. It's a good play by BDS to control this area of the map. It's clean. Nautilus is stepping forward and lands a hook, but he's on his own. DOS does that before the equalizer can even be dropped. And yeah, there goes the Renata ult, just sectioning back the top lane of SK as this fight is just bloody. It's so bloody. And the low health bars on SK mean they have to forfeit the area. Nuke's very healthy right now and is looking for kills. He's going to possibly pop Wukong. And there we go. That should be Drake over to BDS. But they're resetting, because they get the bot lane tier 1. It's just clean. Overall, this is very well played by BDS. It's hard to explain. SK are forced to go into you, and you kind of stack yourselves up around this wall as a means to kind of get away. But, like, you do make it a bit easier for an equalizer to be dropped on you. But look how far back Irrelevant is. He's nowhere near this. Yes, the equalizer has a long drop range. It's probably about to there, I would say, where he is. But DOS is already going in. It's a bit too early, I feel, because he gets pulled in, chunked, he's basically forced to flash and is dead. I don't like that equalizer placement. I get it, it's so that it's to hit Crowny, and he is kind of ticking on top of it. But you look, you've sectioned him off. It's an infernal rift, meaning this Drake pit entranceway is huge. There is the entranceway. If you drop the equalizer from here, across here, or across here, you would do so much better than what has been done here. And DOS dies, Jinx gets excited, but can't really do anything as Ari comes over the wall. Good flash there by Crowny, and good play by Certus overall to kind of force it. But you got two members of SK in Dragon Pit trying to secure it for themselves, but they're killing each other because Labrov places a very good Renata roll. Follow-up down on the bottom side is just Burn City, shut down onto Sheo, and a kill traded back. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of SK. But Drake, because they were so low, forced the back way. And on reset, BDS have gone back to the Drake pit. SK aren't contesting it. In fact, they've sent 3 members, or 2 members top, sorry. Makes no sense to me why you would do that. I get to defend top lane tier 1, but it's unneeded. You're giving over Soul Point. It's just like, what's the point? What's the point in contesting it in the first place if you're not going to contest it again? You got an advantage out of that. And I should also point out how the mid lane has just switched, like, advantage. Certus was leading it, and it's gone. Top lane advantage is pretty much gone as well. Adam has just survived the pressure that Irrelevant had, and is now back in the game. It's just SK burning out very quickly in this game. Like, yes, their team fight was a win, but they've gained nothing from it. And BDS just capitalized. They're just steamrolling. Let's be honest, it's just a continuation of a set pathway that BDS are on. It's just pressure bot lane. Possibly make the play top. Why not? Go Drake. Pressure top side. Try and get Herald. Go back down to Drake. It's just continuation of objective control. It's what BDS have been doing. And it's a very solid style. I remember, so we're going back a few years. This is TSM. Back when I used to be a big TSM fan and only watched their games. Essentially, their style was early Drakes. Control them. And yeah, it worked out quite a bit. But like, the way TSM did it was odd. Because they got the early Drakes and just left them. Like, after that point, they left them because they would have forced the game to go long. It's why TSM had a very long games in losses and in wins. It's because they burnt the Drakes down early and then kind of just let the game stagnate from there so that they could scale up and be very big, strong boys in fights. It's how they used to play. And BDS have a similar style, except for the fact they just continue to pressure and pressure and pressure. It's a very solid play. And as a whole, it's kind of one of the big reasons why they've been dominant this split. They've controlled objective after objective. And in their losses, it's been just... Yikes, I don't like that equalizer there. You could have honestly burnt it towards... I mean, I get the use of it. It's to kind of stop him from going back into the jungle, but... pretty bad ult. Because Labrov just heals up with the Ocean Drake that they secured. Top lane tier 1 is going to be forfeit for it as well, because there's no way to clear that wave. And yeah, SK losing more and more on the Rift. And oh look, a Scud Crab. Free and easy for Sheo. That's like his 6th one this game. It's just vision control. It's impressive from BDS. And it's just controlling the rivers. It's a hard style to lose to, or to win against. But you think about this game, SK kind of been on a slump during the split. They managed to make playoffs and they've not won at all any games, I don't think. And here against BDS, a BDS squad who's just been able to control the Rift. It's a hard thing to play against. And it's interesting to me. People know the BDS style, but no one's been able to beat it, like in best of threes. And I'm intrigued, because when you get to best of fives, slightly different to best of threes, or when you get to MSI, if BDS is our first seed technically for MSI, how? That's just gross, by the way. How do you go up against the best teams in the world? T1s, the Genjis, the other teams attending MSI, as that's just free. Oh god. Okay. This makes no sense to me. No sense at all. Drake is spawned, so all the BDS go to it. Well, I say all of it. 2 big carries, or the 2 main people gonna be killing a Drake, Sheo and Crowny, are on it right now. SK are just standing and watching. They're not able to go through the choke due to fears of the scatter of the weak and the Renata ult. So you're like, okay, what are we doing here? Are we fighting? Are we contesting? Or are we just standing here doing nothing? The answer is standing here and doing nothing. You've got a wave pushing topside you could be forcing onto the tier 2. And you could be doing so much. Look, this is nowhere near the Drake as it falls. So BDS just walks straight out. Clean as a whistle. SK are just standing and watching. And so I don't get it. It makes no sense to me what SK are doing this game. It just feels like they burnt out. They've lost soul, infernal soul, with a Jinx that's fed. That's all I need to say. She does so much damage. Now, these rockets crit nearly every time. It's just so bad by SK. And you kind of have to coin flip here at Baron, if you're them. Which is why you're seeing them pan up here. Lebrov's getting chunked low. he is going to be forced to put his all onto himself. And this is where you're like, as SK, okay, we need to kill Crowny. He's on his own. And, spoiler alert, SK just split and get dunked on. Simply put, they kill off Labrov and Nuke. But they get demolished in the team fight because Crowny is untouched. And spoiler alert, Labrov doesn't even die, even though he's forced to put his W on himself. Yeah, poor fight from SK overall. And I'm sitting awkwardly right now because I know this game is done and dusted. Simply put, it's just poor. Absolutely poor. So Labrov gets caught. He gets hit by a charm. He's then put into his own status. But because Adam kills Naught, Labrov stays alive and is able to impact this fight. On the bottom half of the map, what we're seeing is Crowny basically trying to survive Marcoon, who just killed off Nuke. And so Shirelius gets popped by Labrov, who's able to finally use it. Crowny runs for the hills, seeing kills. Certus is low. He's going to look for him. And Exakick is just in front of an Olaf and a Jinx. He's dead. Bye-bye. And, yeah, Crowny really wasn't in that fight much. It was mainly Olaf and Labrov, Renatra, just doing the work there to keep SK at bay. Because the target selection was just not there from SK. Marcoon played that the best he could, I think, for the SK players. But the rest of them, there's not much good in that fight for him. I get the idea of trying to toss up Baron, like go for a flip on it, but you're this far behind, and BDS know the play, so they're going to try and contest you every time. Yeah. This is just over. Dom's split pushing. He's not going to die. And so he's pulling players to mid, which allows BDS to push bot. Crack open the base. That's a lovely scatter of the week. Marcoon just... Oh, it's his clone. Never mind. Basically, it's just... Dire Straits, you're losing your base. Jinx is excited. She's going to chunk straight through this turret. Half the health bar of X-Kick just get taken by one of the orbs from Syndra. And, yeah. BDS are on the victory march. 3,000 gold off this one Baron. And SK can't do a thing. It's over. This feels like a game that puts you down and out. I'm gonna be honest, if you're SK, you must feel deflated after this game. Because you had a decent control early game. Like, it was fairly even till 10 minutes to 15 minutes early. But after the first Herald, after Drakes became more and more stacked on the side of BDS, the game got out of hand, and BDS have just controlled it ever since. That gold graph couldn't have come up at a better time. But I'm going to be brutally honest, this game just feels done. There's no fight back for SK here. And the reason I say that is because every lane bar mid is an advantage for BDS. However... Oh, rip. Irrelevant. Every lane feels like an advantage for BDS. And I just think SK playing SK's style just is not good against BDS. And it just means that you're going to lose everything. BDS don't even have Baron now, and they're still pushing the base. Sheo gets Charm, but turret's down. That's just Jinx getting excited. Olaf's running in. Everyone's dying. Vi just locks up Desire. And good night, Irene. As game number 1 goes over to BDS. Fairly convincingly, let's be honest. Crowny's just been dominant bot side. Just the rockets. Good shutdown there by Certus getting the charm, but game's over. That's it. That's all I can say. That's the end of this breakdown, I would say. Game 2 is pretty much the exact same thing. I'm going to be honest. It's just a stomp. BDS, if we go to my favorite website, GOL, I can show you. Where is it? Was bring groups, match list. We want to go to BDS versus SK. It's quicker. And it's a 7k gold lead. Draft wise, Zeri Rakan, it's just aggression. Wait, they're banned. Zayed Renata. Renata has been powerful for BDS. It's interesting. Lebrov's the only player to get wins with it. Versus these two. Shock. But, yeah, looking at the goal graphs, we'll go to game 2. Yeah. SK kind of controlled that and then just lost it, it seems. And I just need to see that and see. Crowny basically just carried it. Support does the same. Top, sorry, mid. Yeah. Yeah. Almost a Flame Horizon. 0 deaths. Yeah. That feels like a Crowny popping off game. Regardless. Jeez. That's going to be it. I think 24 minutes into the game, something big happened. Yeah. Crowny got a lot of kills. I think that's 1, 2, 3. Crowny got 4. Didn't he get a pentakill this game? If I am correct. If he did, then... Wait, no, he wouldn't have. No, he didn't. Basically, that game, 4 Drakes. You can see the story. I don't need to break it down if I just say 4 Drakes. Crowny, deathless, with a lot of gold. Cleanse instead of Ghost. Yeah. That looks like a typical Crowny game. It also looks like Nuke popped off as well on Casio. But yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed these, well, technically it's 2 game breakdowns. I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys for... I haven't actually announced the match of the week for this week. We'll possibly do a Monday game. BDS and Vitality face off against one of the teams? Or is it both group teams face off? So like winner of this faces winner of this. I don't remember. I shall look. Tomorrow it's BDS Vitality. Oh, that's a best of 5, isn't it? Yeah, we've got a best of 5 this week. Perhaps we break down this one. I think We'll break down Astralis Mad. We haven't discussed them. So yeah, that's going to be it. See you guys for, yeah, Astralis Mad. Peace out.